I've been a teacher, a classroom teacher in elementary school here in Ontario, Canada for about 10 years. And then I went on two mat leaves with my two kids. And after that time, I sort of questioned whether I wanted to return to the classroom. I still love working with kids, teaching kids, but being in the classroom full time and balancing my home life and my two kids was not really something that I wanted to continue to pursue for right now. And so I thought, okay, so what else can I do that will provide some income, still be in the vein of teaching, but is not, again, a full-time classroom job? Because for those of us who are teachers, we know it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's all consuming. And I was spending my nights, preparing for my lessons for school and not having enough family time. So I wanted to look for something different. So I started I did flyers, to be honest. I had a paper route going in terms of putting things up and stuff like that. And that I realized really, isn't hitting the right people. So I was thinking, because my services are digital, that's all online. Okay, so then I started doing Facebook ads and things like that. I also started offering, because it was the start of the school closures and the pandemic here, I started offering free lessons online to try to get people in the door and to see our services and things like that. But that also wasn't converting. A lot of people were attending them for free. I was glad to be able to provide this free service. So that was the other thing. I was doing it for two reasons: to provide a free service for families who were, wanting to keep learning and were struggling with that. But also I obviously wanted to convert them into paid clients, but it wasn't. So that wasn't working. And then towards the end of the summer of last year, I said, you know what? I have another year. Again, I had another year leave to be at home, but I really need to decide if this is going to work as a business or is that a great opportunity. I tried it out. It didn't work for me. And I need to sort of, go back to the classroom and teaching or pivot and do something completely different. And when I saw ads for your program, it looked really intriguing. And when we spoke, I thought that you had a lot to offer and the content that you delivered was really great. And I really felt that it would be something that could really make a difference in the marketing of my program. So it was just a decision of, okay, am I going to take this leap? Am I going to decide, okay, it was almost like, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to try. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm done. But I needed to do something. And it was a big financial commitment for me. Our business was still very small. We didn't have a lot of students. I was, barely breaking even from month to month, aside from my original startup costs. But I was like, okay, I need to just do something here. I need to basically make a big move and then decide if it works or not, or decide right now that I'm done. Because what I'm currently doing, I was spending hours, trying to grow an email list, trying to reach out to all those people who had attended my free sessions, and it was going nowhere. And I was just wasting my time doing those things. Whereas, if I had some sort of direction and really better focus, then I could use my hours more effectively. And that's the results that I found working with you, that the hours that I put in really generated the results that I wanted to see. I'd invested in other coaching programs before, trying to figure out, again, my whole business model and things like that. I had invested in some pretty big names, but it didn't work for me. I didn't finish the courses. I didn't really, learn what I needed to grow my business from them. And so that made me hesitate. But because of the personalization that you offer and being able to message you personally and get response from you personally, that made me really think that this would work for me. Because the problem with a lot of the bigger, well-known companies is that, yeah, you have a Facebook group and you can, ask questions to a general group of people. But I'm always like, okay, does that fit me in my situation? Is that really exactly what I'm dealing with right now? How can that apply directly to me? Whereas with what I, again, like about your program is that you answer the question. So you have videos and things to watch, and some things apply to everybody. But if I have a specific question about, okay, should I do this, or how does that work for me because I have X, Y, and Z, then you're able to answer that. And I think that really not only is helpful to me, but is, again, helpful to making the whole program effective and making what I'm doing with you effective. Before I launched the Facebook ads, I also really like that you guys review all of, the landing pages and everything. And so you gave me feedback at that point. So before I had it even done the Facebook ads, you gave me feedback, and I revised my landing page based on your feedback. Yeah. And then once I launched the Facebook ads, though, no, I think it was pretty successful. I had leads coming in. The only thing I think that I tweaked maybe that you're referring to is the follow-up with my leads that I needed some further guidance with. But in terms of the landing page, that the videos that you had set up and the feedback that you gave me personally based on your review of what I worked on, that was enough to be successful. And same with the Facebook ad itself, that was successful sort of right off the bat in terms of getting the leads. Then I needed some more support in terms of converting the leads to actually enrolling with me. So that you gave me a little more direction on. So we did have a session with the group coaching call, but I think you reviewed some of the follow-up way that I followed up with families and in terms of the emails or the text messages and things like that. And I found that helped me a lot more as well in terms of actually getting them to convert in the end. That was helpful. Yeah.
So what was the result of that, like of doing all these things?
So before I started with you, I had been working on my business for about six months and had about 10 clients that were paid clients. And again, but it wasn't a lot of growth. It was just like at the beginning, we had maybe 6 just from referrals and family and friends and people that knew me. And then a couple of random people who found me online and through my Facebook ads and stuff. But it wasn't really growing anywhere. So since then though, we now have just over 30 students. So wow. For me, that's a lot. Like, I don't know, for some people that might not sound like a lot, but for us, that's a lot. We have 30 students, so we like tripled our numbers. And again, it's just feeling more successful about the students who are coming in and being able to convert them from not knowing anything about us to being really active and engaged in our program and being hearing a lot of positive feedback from families saying, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. You really helped my child. And hearing that feedback and reaching the right customers is exactly what we're looking to do. So I started with you in the beginning of September, but I think I did not actually get all of my stuff together and everything launched until I did a first round, I think mid-October or November of ads, and we got about 10 more students. And then I just did another one at the end of December, early January, got 10 more students. So it did take a little time for me, but that's also because of the timing that I set up for myself in terms of completing the task that you gave me to do. But in the last, 2 months, I would say. It's hard for sure. I mean, everybody wishes they had more time to do anything, right? But really, I was spending my evenings working on after the kids go to bed. I have from like 9 to 11 or midnight or even 1 o'clock. I was trying to get some things done at some point. So when they go to bed, and also for me, it was about making like lists of things that I needed to do. So when I had, when my kids are in virtual school, but I have half an hour because they're both, engaged online, then I can quickly do this real, piece of work so that I can get closer to the next step. So making specific lists of what I needed to do was really helpful for me as well, just as a sort of a time management point. Because otherwise, if I don't have my specific list of things to do, I'm just like randomly, clicking through emails, and then wasting the time. Even though it would be great to have a solid block of like, an 8-hour workday to get this done, it's not in the reality of what I have right now. So I need to make those small bursts of time or those 2 hours at night really work for me. I'm lucky, I do have a really supportive husband who on the weekends, like right now, is with the kids so that I can get a couple more hours to work on the weekends because I'm here with them during the day, during the week. He takes some time with them on the weekends so that I can have some dedicated work time as well. Yeah, I guess it's the growth mindset everybody's talking about now. And I think that you need to have that, especially as an entrepreneur, because there are always going to be doubts. There's always going to be times where like, oh my God, this is not working. Oh my God, what am I doing? It's a very different mindset versus, again, a 9-to-5 job where you work for someone else, you do your work and, you're done. Where as an entrepreneur, you're always, figuring out what else can I do to make this better, and also always questioning yourself. So again, that's why it's great to have somebody, an expert in the field, someone who has a lot of experience and has done this many times, to say, okay, no, this is not right, or this is right, and just so you feel a little more confident in each step that you're doing. And then again, seeing results is also, you know, a huge motivator and a way to say, okay, yeah, this is working, and really propels you forward and motivates you even more. Also know that it is a lot of work. It's not just, and I think Casey says that often in his videos, this is work, guys. But if you're excited and passionate about it, then the work, while time consuming, doesn't feel like work. It's like, okay, this is exciting, this is going to happen. And so just, I think the mindset to know that it's not easy, but it is possible. And so, you know, whatever your goal is or your dream is to do, that, you know, it's very possible to do. It's just, it does take a lot of work to do it. And knowing that in advance might be helpful, so that you know that what you're getting into in that sense. And so I think that would be my advice, or my comment to people who are just starting out, that you can do it. It's going to take a lot of work, but you can do it. And with the right support and the right guidance, that you really can do it. And that it's an exciting thing to do. It's at times a scary thing to do, but if you're looking for a way to follow whatever your passion is, whether it's, you know, teaching math or dance or whatever else, then go for it and just get the right support, work hard, and do what you can, and also know your limits. So we talked very briefly, I guess, at the beginning, I'm not sure if it's part of the recording, but I'd love to grow this faster than I currently am, but based on the reality of my situation with the pandemic and with my family and things like that, I can't. But I think that having that mindset and realizing that for yourself is also important to know, because you can see, you know, especially with Facebook and social media, you can see all the successful people, and you're like, oh, I wish I was doing that, or I wish I could do this. But being a little bit realistic about what is possible for you right now is also important, because then you will feel successful about what you're doing. So, you know, if you're setting unrealistic goals for yourself and in your situation, then you're never going to feel successful. But if you set realistic goals and say, okay, wow, I did this. This is one step towards where I want to be. Then that's great, and that's being successful and feeling good about what you're doing.
Right. So do you have like other things that you want to tell people who are watching this right now?
Other thing that I want to tell them? No, just, yeah. Well, join in with Casey and Vivian, because
I didn't know. I'm going to cut out this. We have to cut out this part. That's like hard sell. Yeah, but like, just like inspire them or something, you know.
Okay, something more inspirational. But no, yeah. But literally that was, I know, you're not paying me to say that. I truly feel that getting support, like I was, again, I talked about the coaching that didn't work for me, but as an entrepreneur, it's sometimes isolating. Like, this is I don't know, it's not inspirational, but let me just say that it's sometimes isolating, because you're working by yourself. Whereas before, like, I was, you know, a colleague in a group of teachers in a school. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's sometimes isolating because you're running it by yourself. And so if you can find the right support, whether it's friends or family or somebody, a coach that you pay for, but somebody who can support you and be there for you to bounce ideas off of or talk to about things, that would be another thing that I would highly recommend, because when you have other people to talk to about it, then again, it just makes you feel more confident, makes you feel better about what you're doing, and it's not as isolating, and they can, you know, ride the ups and downs with you, because that's the other thing about being an entrepreneur. I think that what I didn't realize is the ups and downs. Like, oh yes, this is going so great, and then something happens, and it's going to, I mean, the overall trajectory is going to be up, but there are going to be some times where something unexpected happens, or something doesn't go the way that you wanted to. But again, it's knowing that you can pivot, you can, you know, make a tweak or a change, or, you know, talk to somebody about it and get some advice, so that you can get back up to the upswing. Because I think, again, as an entrepreneur, things go go up and down, but being able to ride through the down so that you can get back to the up is important, and not quitting. I mean, I think that's the other thing too. I've said before that it's a lot of hard work, but don't stop, don't quit. If this is really what you want to do and what your passion is, then keep at it. Whether it's spending an hour a day working on it, or 10 hours a day, whatever you put in, you will get out of it. It just may take more time than you hope, but it will come about. And I think that that's sort of my story as well, that I wanted to make this happen faster and be more successful faster. But it'll take time, and it'll get there. And I am currently where I want to be. I have plans, for future goals and things like that. But the success that I've had so far, I think we need to celebrate that too. And so for anybody out there who has taken a first step, or a couple of first steps, that is a step in the right direction, and the success of doing that in itself is success. So celebrate those, because again, the journey is long and hard, but to celebrate the successes so that you can keep going.